Hello, welcome to the Rangers Rabble pre-match build-up for the Rangers v Hearts game at Tynecastle. I'm joined today by Ross. Ross, how are you?
Very good, mate. Very good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm still tired. I'm quite ill, mate. Kids are ill, so now I'm ill. That's how it goes. Care, what about yourself?
I'm all right, Stuart. I'm all right.
Good stuff. We've got everyone in the comments already, so it should be a good show and hopefully a good result. So I'll go through the team quick, and then I'll do all the like and subscribe and all this. So we start with Alan McGregor in goal, keeping his place. So back four of James Tavernier. They put Barisic and Davies the wrong way around, but I think it's James Tavernier, Barisic left back, Goldson and Davies in the centre, Lundstrom, Jack, Arfield ahead, Matondo and Kent on the wings, and Cholak up top. And before I come to everyone, don't forget to like and subscribe on the pod. You know, we're climbing up on the subscriber count all the time, so it's really appreciated every time someone else adds to the conversation. And as always, we're sponsored by Zenith Coins, so 10% off all your purchases, Rangers purchases there with the code RR10, I believe it is. Haven't done that in a while, but I'm sure it's RR10. So jump straight in. Ross, what do you make of the team?
Dyer. Dyer. I don't like Leon King being dropped. I don't like Charlie McCann being bombed out the squad altogether. I don't like Arfield starting for the start. Don't know if I like the fact that this is confirmation. McGregor's now officially Rangers number one for another season after the way he finished last season. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it. You've got Jack and Lundstrom both going to sit, so we're going there again, looking to keep the zero rather than going and try to put a performance in. I'm just looking at the team line here as well. So Tillman, Fashion, Wright, all your attacking players, all your ones that are on the bench to make way for two sitting midfielders in Arfield, who's not exactly mobile. As I would like for the guy who's sitting in as the forward of the three. Ryan Kent keeping his place after his form. So maybe after the international break, you would say it's got to be his last chance to offer us something. The only thing I'm surprised about is that he's went with Cholak ahead of Morelos, because I thought he would have done that as well.
Yeah, I think that was one of the. I think everyone in the chat sort of pretty much predicted that Morelos would be back in care. This start on a positive, I think. Ben Davies back in after a little while out. Not the greatest start to Rangers' career, coming in and sort of picking up a knock and then having some personal things. But good to see him back.
Yeah, as and I don't want to look at negatives for the team. I think that team should be still good enough to beat Hearts. But as we know with Gio, he is more a cautious manager. So he was always going to play two setters. But Lundstrom and Jack have showed in the past when they perform well, it does work. Scotty Arfield as well. I know he's getting on and maybe he shouldn't have started, but he's probably the only one in midfielders that does break the line at times.
Yeah.
And if you're going to play him, sometimes you will start him, then bringing him off. Matondo has to show something because you're signing him for a bit of money. You have to start showing something. Ryan Kent, he's not played well at all for a while, so he's due a performance, but how many chances is he going to get? And Cholak, he couldn't really drop. There was a lot of talk about Morelos, but he's the only one that's getting the putting the ball in the net, so we can't drop him. But in Ben Davies has really cost a bit of money, so if he's fit, you put him back in. I do feel sorry for Leon King, didn't put a foot wrong, but he's always going to play a £4 million player, and Connor Golson he's just not going to drop. So that team has to show up today. If it doesn't, then there's questions going to be asked about Gio and some of the players. But you look at the bench, but not really any bench players have performed either. So he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. But I do feel sorry for Leon and Charlie McCann. If he's playing for the B team at the end, it's not great. He was just bombed out altogether. But if he's injured, then as we know, as we know with Gio and his injuries, Ross, sometimes you believe him, sometimes you don't. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking at that Hearts side, and they've got quite a young side there, and
Yeah, I'm just looking at that now. Yeah.
they've got a lot of legs there, and that's the only thing that concerns you. They've got legs on the part. I don't know if we do.
Yeah, no, I completely agree there. I was just looking at sort of, I've only really watched Hearts in Europe the couple of times they've been on, and sort of Alan Forrest come off the bench, shown a bit of pace, which our defence don't seem to like. And of course, Barry Mackay can turn it on occasions, and he's been very good for Hearts. Ross, just every time I look at the team, I keep expecting it to change. It won't. Just on that Charlie McCann thing, quick, just wanted to touch on that. I was going to come to that later, but Kerr brought it up. Gio said no fresh injury worries, apart from the guys we already know about. So is that unfair then, Charlie McCann? Because if he is out, he must have just picked an injury up, and if he is in the B team, it's a bit of a shambles.
John Sutter was only a couple of weeks away with a knock, and we'd found out that he's had surgery months ago. So what Gio tells you, if Gio told me the grass was green, I would go out and have a look to make sure for myself. Charlie McCann and Leon King have done nothing wrong this season. Connor Goldson has been howling for months. So see if you're dropping one centre-half, it's got to be Goldson. You've got to make that decision. Maybe it's to do with the fact you would then be putting two centre-halves in who've never played with each other, but let them go and have a chance. Mate, I think he talks about showing pathways to the first team, and for me, he's just putting blockers up to that left, right, and centre. What's Ryan Jack done this season, bar a good performance for Scotland, that warrants him walking straight back into the team? Listen, I hope at the end of this I've got egg all over my face. I hope I look like a walking omelette, right? But it's just negative all the time, man. It's like the wee bit of excitement people had last week was McCann and King breaking into the team and playing quite well, and then they're just binned again for the same old. Oh, it's back to the dad's army, innit? It's the old guard again.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem. Kerr always seems to be that way. I mean, some people see GM think it's a solid lineup. So hopefully they do prove us wrong. What else? Just commented. Curry Muncher, how did you manage to pull off being host? He got dodgy pics of mine. It's not that. No, we've all got those pictures. Every time he has a drink, he sends the whole group some. So fortunately, it's not the reason. But no, Kerr, it's one sort of topic of content. I mean, I'm seeing this in the comments a lot as well. Ryan Kent, I mean, he's not been good enough this season. We know that, and his numbers have never really been good enough for a player of his talent. Are you surprised to see that he still gets to start, or is it just that we really don't have many other options?
I think it's probably a bit of both there, Stuart. He probably should have been left out, arrested, or dropped, whatever you want to call it, maybe a few games ago. But who else do we put in? We've got Fashion, we've got Wright, we've got Matondo. I think even Ryan Kent in the lineup, I know he's not playing well, but him on the pitch, you're hoping he maybe, even because he's on the pitch, can free up space for others. It's not been working lately, but you always hope when Ryan's playing he produces something. Because even one moment for Ryan Kent, you've seen it against Hibs, the ball he put in for Lawrence. You've seen it in other games where he's just one moment he can produce something, but then other times he takes an extra touch or he shoots and it ends up down Paisley Road West. He's not performing like we know he can, but he's just that player. Myself, just my opinion, I'd rather have him in the lineup and not have him in the lineup, even though he's not even playing well. But I'm not the manager. But as you know, every manager, Stuart, they've got their favourites. They've got the people they trust. And I get the young guys, and it would be great if we could give the young guys a game, because I'm all for that. But some managers, when they're either struggling or they feel under pressure, they always go to their guys they trust or the more experienced players. And I think Gio's that cautious a manager. He's always going to do that.
Yeah, and I think Andy's just brought that point. It's a solid, they're not bad players. Let's be fair. It's not a bad team. It's just I think this is what we're all feeling. It is very little creativity, which I think is one of the issues under Gio. He does go for this. He's talked a lot about keeping the zero. Defensively, we don't look good enough at this point in time to be keeping zero most games. But we also, Cholak needs service. We know this. He's not going to create something out of nothing. So players like Kent and Matondo, they really need to sort of be on their game. And I don't know where Ross is. I don't know if Ross has come back at some point. I've seen Net's dropped out.
I thought against like Napoli in the first half, Arfield did play really well. And he did get forward and support, and he was trying to break between the lines. He was making the late runs, but he can do. But the problem with Scotty now is he's older and he can't do it for 90 minutes. But we know that's his game and he can do that. And he's going to end a couple of things this season, and he makes runs that other players in the team don't. That's probably the reason he's in there.
Yeah, and just staying sort of with Matondo there, because obviously we've covered Kent Ross. I think a few people going a bit OTT in the group chat with Matondo saying last chance, but I mean he has got to show something at some point, right?
My thoughts on hear me out now. Has Gio switched them wings in?
Well, we'll never know. We will never know what he's going to tell us. It might be, we'll wait to we'll wait until he comes back to
I think your wingers should always be interchanging anyway. Do you know?
It would be nice.
Wings, and they don't always have a set position. I mean, that's not the way. That's not the way we've always played. Sometimes on the right, sometimes on the left, sometimes on central. Both of them should be able to interchange and swap about. So we shouldn't be. But I think if Hearts go with a back four, then it might not be as good for us. If we go with a back three, then I think we'll have more success down the flanks.
Yeah, we're just letting anyone in here at the moment. Martin, how are you? How are you doing?
It's going from 2 to 4, 4 to 2.
No, I'm only in for a few minutes just until Ross sorts out his internet issues, because I'm heading to Edinburgh for the B team game shortly. But yeah, just quickly, sorry, and I will leave you to it, because as everybody knows, I'm terrible at giving opinions. I don't think it's Matondo's last chance by any means. The guy needs time to settle. I disagree with a couple of the guys in the group chat for saying that. I just wouldn't have brought him back into this game. I think it's too big a game to bring him back in. Unless, like you guys are saying, Gio switched them wings and he's playing on the left, but he won't because Kent's playing there. I just think this is a big game to be bringing him back in when, let's be honest, he'll be feeling the pressure as well.
Yeah, certainly. And I think, I've always thought that personally, and we'll go back to Ross if his internet is going to hold out for this one, with Matondo, with Kent. For me, Kent's both-footed, right? We can see that he can deliver balls with both feet. Why can't he play on the right? Because Matondo is, from what I've seen, he's someone that has come through his career playing on the left-hand side as sort of that inside forward.
I think that if Matondo's naturally left-sided, Kent's performances merit him losing his place on the left, and it then becomes Kent trying to get a place on the right-hand side. If he's the best of a bad bunch on the right, then why no play it? It's no internet issues I'm having, by the way. I've got a MacBook Pro, and see the wee bar where all the buttons change. It's gone haywire, honestly. It must have a kind of Red Bull this morning.
MacBook Pro.
You can't just recycle my pattern, mate, and palm
You recycle pattern all the time.
No,
he will recycle it, and he will recycle it in all three halves.
I know, he will. Especially that third one.
I think that he could surprise us. He's got to surprise us. Kent on the left's not working, Matondo on the right's not working. Surely that's something that mind I was saying about video analysis care. Hopefully they've looked at that and thought, right, Kent's getting no joy on the left, so switch the two of them, give them a chance, play somebody in their natural position. My computer's going to cut out again, by the way. I might need to leave. My computer's telling me something. I don't know if Nicole's programmed it to boot me out because I'm spending so much time on it, but my computer's struggling here, boys. If I go again, I'm out. If I go again, I'm out for the weekend. I'm out for the night.
Three strikes.
We're just sort of last thing on Matondo then, Care. Do we think that is it a possibility that we've seen Gio sort of not favour Matondo that often? Could it be that he's thinking away at Hearts, we're going to get a bit more space on the counter because Hearts they do come at us at home. Tynecastle is quite a tough atmosphere to play in front of. Is he expecting Matondo maybe to get a little bit more room on the break, and therefore it's going to be a game that suits him?
It might be. I think when you look at the Hearts back for Michael Smith, Lewis Nielsen, Kingsley's going to be putting in there and Cochrane. They've not really got somebody there who, apart from the boy Nielsen, who's quite young, I think he's only 19, 20, they've not really got a dominant centre half there, and the other defensive players there like to attack. I mean, Barry Mackay and Forrest in front. There might be space in there for Matondo and Kent, but we have to utilise it if there is space. We have to obviously make space for ourselves, but we have to use it when we get it. Because Cochrane likes to go forward, Michael Smith can tuck inside. Kingsley, we all know, likes to go forward. So there's space for us to plenty, but we have to find the space and we have to use it when we get it. And Matondo has pace, but I've not seen enough of him. What I've seen is he runs with the way he's facing. That's what I've seen. So I'm hoping today he does a couple of things that impresses us. And Ryan Kent, he has to put a performance out today. He has to. But the wingers, like I said earlier, Stuart, they can't just stick to the same. They can't just stick to the same area. They have to interchange. You have to go wide. They have to come in. They just can't stick to the touchlines and nothing else.
Yeah, definitely. And Ross, Cholak, right decision?
All day long, mate. Cholak for me is the best striker at Rangers. I know people say because Morelos is let. People want Morelos to play as a 10, running side to side and bullying defenders outside the box. For me, I want my striker in the 18-yard box ready to score goals. We play with wingers, we play with inside forwards. Let them do the harassing defenders and running the channels. I want my striker in the middle of the box scoring goals. And that's undoubtedly what Cholak does. I think again today you'll get people who'll come on and say, oh, I never done the blow up, but look at our tactics again. We're set up to isolate him. We're set up for him to be isolated. And that's not his fault. That comes down to tactics. Because I don't see Arfield having the legs to keep getting up close to him for 90 minutes. So
yeah, I think that's 100% right. And I think Rangers teams evolved that firing balls in the box, the amount of chances we've created over the years, Cholak could be a sort of 30, 40 goal striker every season with those teams. So we just got to hope that he can get the service. Another sort of one that people are 50-50 on a lot of the time, Alan McGregor keeps his spot in goal. He's not done a great deal wrong since he's come in. Obviously had the marvellous penalty save against Napoli. Do you think that's just we just carry on because he's sort of that's his position now to lose?
I think Gio's just went with somebody he trusts. Honestly, I just think he's picked Alan at the two keepers and thought John's made a few errors. I know Alan's probably made an error that week with the save against United. I thought, the goal against United, I thought he should have done better, but I'm not a goalie, but we know Alan's got mistakes in him as well, and I just think Gio said, right, he's the winner, most experienced player we've got here, and I want to stick with him. And I think that's what I think he's done. I don't think any of them two of them should be number one, but that's a different topic of conversation. So I just think he's went me McGregor. The fact it's Alan McGregor.
Ross, I mean, does going back to McGregor go against what Gio has sort of put across as his philosophy of like, he likes to play out from the back, right? So is that not sort of going completely against it when we know McGregor's not the greatest with the ball at speed? I'm not saying that McLaughlin is, because he's not as good as I thought he was going to be, but that was sort of the reason that McLaughlin was in, right?
You're going to sit in the day, mate. So McGregor's not going to have to play with the ball at his feet. McGregor's just going to be laying it after Goldson, who's going to be inside the box. That's what it schemes to me. It schemes to me we're just going to go there and just sit back and try and hit them on the counter with the pace of Matondo. But if they play with a deep line, Matondo's got nowhere to run. I hate... Do you know what? I hate coming on the preview shows now because I feel as if, I'm as negative, but I think it's no negative. I'm the same as Kerr. Our 11's better than their 11, but I just think he hampers players when he plays with a handbrake on all the time. Do you know what I mean? See, at the start of the season, after a couple of games, folk were like, we've ring-fenced 10 million because we're going to sign Tillman, we're going to sign Sands. So now Tillman can't even get off the bench. Can't get a start. So where's the correlation? Like, I think I seen CGM saying I sucked the life out of him when we came out, and when I said them a bit at the start, but Gio's tactics shook the life out of the full stadium. and then he relies on Alfredo Morelos to come on at 60 minutes to try and get a jump out the crowd. I just think McGregor last year, after, I've said it before, after 55 season, he said he would have retired on the back of 55 if fans were there, but he wanted to play in front of the fans and have a proper send-off. He got that at the end of last year when he'd cost us a lot of points in the league with basic goalkeeping errors. And I'm talking about schoolboy, the Ross County game, I'll keep you on about it, it's basic schoolboy goalkeeping errors. And you've somehow got to this stage in this season when you're having to revert back to him. Now, I love McGregor. He's a hero. He was my hero when I grew up. I played Ingles. But the time for sentimentality is... Look at Celtic, they spent £5 million on a keeper. He wasn't doing it. Binned. Away out on loan to somebody and get in somebody who's going to do it for them. We are still ambling through. I said it before. You're tossing up a shite and a jobby and going like that. What one's going to land first? And that's the one we'll pick. Because none of the two of them are at this point in time. None of the three of them are a Rangers number one goalkeeper anymore. And that's not because McGregor's been a Rangers legend. He'll go into the Rangers Hall of Fame. I'm sure he will. But at 41 years of age nearly, he's not what we need now.
Yeah, and just sort of last point on McGregor. Curry Munchers saying McGregor's got the nod. So now we're all going to be worried about every corner free kick into the 6-yard box. One thing I'll say about Robbie Nielsen is he does seem to do his homework on teams, and he does seem to try and exploit any sort of weaknesses they have. So is that sort of what you're going to be expecting from them? Shankman's not the tallest, but he is decent in the air. And for me, it's not even the first balls we struggle with. Sometimes it's the second balls from corners and stuff like that. So do you think that's going to be one of their big tactics today?
I think I'll just try and move the ball quick. See, Shankland's he's not the greatest in it, he isn't, and he's not the quickest either. But he's a penalty box striker, probably a bit like Kolak. When the ball comes in the box, Shankland just gets a sniff. He'll have a dig at goal, and that's how he scores a lot of goals. Lauren Shankland, and he'll probably just put in the heels of Golson because he knows corners are bomb scared at times. So if he gets a sniff, a chance he could score. And with players like Mackay who can play the balls in between the centre backs and the boy Forrest, he's very direct, but he likes a shot as well. I think Hearts will come for us because they know what we're going to do. They know we'll probably sit a bit deeper than we should. And Ross has mentioned that about some of the players they ring fence. When you look at our two fullbacks, over the years, Barisic and Tav have been our main assets going forward, but not even as far up the park as used to be because that's obviously coming for the manager. It's not coming for the players themselves. So Hearts are going to come out and think this is Rangers we're playing, but they're not as good as they should be, or they think they are. So we'll go for them, and if they come for us, anything could happen today. That's how I said last night, a 2-each draw. I think we'll score, but I think Hearts will score as well.
Yeah, it's always one of the problems I think we're having this season is, defensively we've not been as good as we have been over the past few seasons. And listen, apart from Ben Davies, it's the same sort of defence. But just sort of one more look at this team then, Ross. It's quite a physical midfield, I think, with Lindstrom, Jack, Arfield. So, we know every time we're going to go to Tynecastle, you're going to have a battle. That's just standard. Pacey sort of front line with Matondo and Ken, finishing striker. It's maybe not that bad of a team as we're sort of worried about.
Tell you what I would say, Stu, see, we don't know the intricacies of his tactics, right? But see if you're playing Matondo and Ken and saying to them, yous are no wingers. See when yous get forward, yous get into the box and give us 3 in the box. Tav and Barisic can then get up and down the wings, and you've got 2 sitters. So see, even if the 2 of them get caught up the park, the 2 sitters can split, and that could give you an attacking. But I just don't see it, mate. I see it as sitting in and sitting in and sitting in and trying to hit them on the counter. So there is ways that you can make that a really attacking formation by saying to Kent and Matondo, look, yous are cutting inside, getting in, getting numbers in the box. Tav and Borna, yous can get them down the wings. And when Tav and Borna are up the park, you've then got your 2 sitters who can then split into the back, and you've still essentially got a back 4. But I just don't see it, mate. I just don't see it. Listen, as I say, hopefully I'm walking about like fucking Easter Bunny sack for the egg. That's it. That's it. I hope that I've just got egg all on my face at the end of this. But Kerr could be right, man. Kerr could be right. We could concede goals a day based on the way we play, and that's scary.
See, if you look back at Hibs game earlier in the season, we done well at the start because Bonner was getting up the park, Kent was getting up the park, and that's how we managed to score. But on the other side, Matondo wasn't cutting inside, so he wasn't leaving the space for Taft to run into. And I think that's one of the reasons they get subbed. But Kent and Barisic actually played quite well in that game until obviously went pear-shaped. But I think if they start up and the full-backs, like Ross says, can get wider, get up the park, and the Kent and Matondo can come inside at times to leave space, because as soon as they come inside, they're dragging a defender away. Against Hibs, we never done it, but on the right side, but on the left side, we did. But I think that's how Hearts will play a back four today. I don't think they'll go with a back three. I think they'll play a back four, because you say Robin Nielsen's really good at looking at teams how they play, so I think he'll play a back four to counteract that.
Yeah, and I did just see a question. Is Mackay playing? He is indeed. I've just seen their lineup and he is playing. And yeah, just staying with you then, Kay. I mean, so I've only really seen the Hearts in a couple of European games this season, and even against that, it's the Latvian team Riga. Defensively they looked all over the place. Craig Gordon was keeping them in the game at times. We've put a B team out against Hearts in recent months, and they've come and gone and got the win. And in the cup, I thought we were by far the better team. So, mentally, if the team are there today, we should go and turn them over, right, Kev?
We should. what we should do, what we actually do, is two different things. Stuart. If you look at the Hearts side, the back four's no the most physical. You've got four guys in there, one young player and another your kind of attacking fullbacks, aren't they? Michael Smith can on in these years. Kingsley we know can play. He prefers a back three, Stephen Kingsley, but if they play a back four, it probably suits us. Cochrane get down the park. You've got Forrest and Mackay, who don't really have a lot of dig. You've got the boy they signed, I can't even pronounce his name. That boy they signed is
I think they just call him Keo, don't they?
Keo, yeah. I mean, he's not scored many goals right enough if you look at his record over the past few seasons, but he's got a bit of dig about his game, and Cammy Devil, we know Cammy he'll just fly into tackles, and you'll probably make about 5 or 6 before he even gets spoken to.
Yeah, that's what's problem, yeah.
But Humphreys is good round about the area. He can move about, he can interchange, and Shanklin will just lurk about the penalty area. He'll not get a lot around it. Lawrence will get just lurk about the penalty area, and he'll probably take a chance or two if it comes his way. So, but the best thing we can do is go and attack Hearts. If we sit and expect things to happen, it'll not happen if we're going to make them happen. Because Hearts will not do that. They'll just come out and just go for us. And that's it, my worry.
Yeah, and just sort of final point before we let sort of everyone go off, and I was going to say beer. Is it too early for beer when the football's on? I don't think it is it? No. But final sort of point then. I mean, Scott. Final point then, Ross. Is any of the team today? Is there a mind on Anfield on Tuesday at all? Do you think?
Well, the fact, no, I don't even think so, because Davies is going to be your first choice left-sided centre half. You've not spent £4 million on a guy. I was going to say Sands. The fact Sands is banned, but that's not right. No, I don't think he has got an eye, mate. I think he thinks this is the strongest lineup that he could put out today in order to play the way he wants to play. And I suppose it's easy for us to sit here and criticise when it's not our job that's on the line. So obviously he's doing what he thinks is best, because he's got to know that he's on a shaky nail. So he's obviously picking the team that he thinks is the best to win the match. It's just that we as fans want to see a better style of football than what he's going to give us. Like, it was, as I say, it was only before the international break we were 2-1 up at Dundee United with 4 minutes to go, keeping the ball in the corner, and that's against the worst team in the league. So yeah, that worries me. That does. It just, I mean, maybe I'm just a negative Nancy in my old age.
And if you look at that record, Hearts for this, I've been going with goals against. I think they're the second worst team in the league. I could be wrong, but I'm sure they've let in a few goals, Hearts.
Yeah, and I said final point, but final point, Care. It's a great point here. Hearts also have a big game in the week. They've got Fiorentina, of course, so they're going to have an eye on that. They're not going to be wanting to pick up injuries as well. So it's not going to be just, usually we go into these games, we're a bit fearful because we've got Europe coming up, but now teams like Hearts have to think about that too.
To be honest with you, Stuart, this is the only game Rangers Plus we're thinking about. Liverpool game, don't start thinking about that until tomorrow. This game comes first for me because Liverpool should take care of itself. In midweek, the Champions League game in Anfield should take care of itself. So the Rangers Plus have to go out and 100% focus in this game because we need 3 points. We need 3 points a day more than we need in midweek because the league to me comes first.
Yeah, cool. Go on then, we'll have some predictions. Everyone can check their predictions in the comments. I'll pop a few up before we go. Ross, what do you think?
I'm going to stick with my 2-0 Rangers. Chorak first goal, but
Thinks we'll concede definitely, but we're going to win 2-0.
yeah. Mate, listen, I predicted it last night, and then once we went half air, I changed my mind drastically, but we'll not go there because I'm already been negative enough. So we'll stick with the 2-0. We'll stick with the 2-0.
Aldo's going a 3-1 Cholak hat-trick. Care. What do you think?
I said 2 each last night, so I'm going to change my mind. 2 each, and I went for Lundstrom.
2 each, Lundstrom.
Even though I think Hearts will score first, but I think Lundstrom might score.
We've got Michael Charon thinks it's going to be 3-1, 2-1 Rangers Tav from Nicholas Moore, Paul Thompson 3-2 Rangers, any more? Scott Bett 4-1 Rangers, Kent first goal. Curry Much is back in Europe, Care. Bad feeling 2-2. Over a Hill 2-1 Cholak, 1-0. So there's confidence in there. It's not, I mean, look at this one, 6-0 Rangers. So
he's going to drink Kelly.
He has gone rogue. He's not been in since 2017.
It lives up to the name. That's what the matters. So some more 2-1s, 2-1s, 3-1s, 3-0 there, and 1-0 Cholak. So we'll leave it there, guys. We will hopefully be back on with a halftime show. I think it's supposed to be Ross, but you're going to hold up for that, Ross?
I'll be here if you're.
Yeah.
I think it's just you. I think it's just you yourself.
Just us two, yeah.
Mate, I'll just come on and I'll come on and juggle. Not a job in the shite right enough, but I'll just come on and I'll juggle or sing. I'll do something. Yes, just go for it.
Depending how the first half goes.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes. We'll be back on for a little sort of 10-minute update at half time. So I hope you can all join us then. And let's hope it's a good first half. Thanks very much.